Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Vinyāsa Yoga. This is a 60-minute yoga class. My name is Jackie. I'm going to be your instructor today. If you have joined us before, welcome back. If you have not joined us yet, welcome to class. You'll notice these are virtual, and if you are joining from home, you will want to make sure to be successful in class today. You have something you can practice on, whether that's a mat or a towel. If you're even on a rug or carpet, that works as well. You'll also want some sort of prop if it's helpful for you today. So if you're used to working with a prop like a block, you can grab that for yourself, or if you have a hardcover book or something like that, that's just gonna help support us through practice. It's not extremely necessary for our class today, but it will help. And as you can see, I'm sitting on a block right now. So if you have like a blanket or a pillow you can sit on, that will be helpful just as we start our centering and warming up. Lastly, you'll just need some water and hopefully some clothes that you have on to practice in and allow some movement with your body. So without further ado, we are going to get started in an easy pose. So sitting here in our seated position, we're going to be crossed at the shins here. Legs are crossed, and we can have our hands on our thighs. They are palm up or palm down, whatever works for you today. And just ensuring that our elbows are right underneath our shoulders. We're going to start to arrive to our mat, arrive to our practice today, and breathe in and out through our nose. So if you're able to, start to inhale through your nose and exhale through your nose. If it's comfortable to close your eyes, I encourage you to do so, just to sort of bring that awareness inward. If you're like me and there was a lot of hustle and bustle going on in your day, this is our time to just let all of that go. Spend the next 60 minutes with yourself on your mat. And you'll notice that your breathing hopefully starts to become a little bit slower, maybe a little bit deeper. Starting to really focus on inhaling, filling up our lungs all the way, maybe even holding at the top for a moment, and then slowly exhaling. And bringing that awareness to our breath can really help us to alleviate those outside thoughts. So starting to concentrate. One strategy that I like to use is to count my breaths. And if I can get to 10 without letting my outside thoughts take over, then that really helps me to know that I am centering. So taking a few more breaths here before we start with our Dirga Pranayama. If there is an intention that you would like to set today for your practice, you are more than welcome to. It can be helpful to have something in mind as we practice. I don't have a specific intention for this class, but our theme that we're going to be working on is opening our hips up. So if your hips are tight, maybe you're sitting all day, I think most of us can use a little bit of hip openers. So that will be our theme. But as far as intention, I do not have a suggestion for you today. So moving into our next breathing exercise, or Dirga Pranayama. If you've been here the last few weeks, you're familiar with it probably, and if not, what I'd like you to do is place a hand on your heart and a hand over your belly button. And we're going to start by inhaling air. It's 3-part breath. So we inhale that air into our belly button, filling it up, then let that air come up into our chest, and finally up into that clavicle or collarbone. We hold for just a moment, and then exhale in reverse order. So exhaling clavicle or collarbone, chest, and then our belly button. Reversing that, belly button, chest, clavicle as we inhale, hold at the top for a moment, exhale, reverse order. Taking this at your own pace, matching your breath to your movement, and starting to deepen those breaths, maybe making them slower, really filling that air up with all those lungs up with all of the air before exhaling. Take a couple more here. When you're you're ready, slowly, if your hands were on your heart and your belly button, go ahead and lower those hands. We're going to start warming our body up with some neck rolls. So when you're ready, sitting in our easy pose, we're going to tilt our chin to our chest and then slowly take right ear to right shoulder. Roll that head around, left ear to left shoulder, and then chin to chest. So circling the head. If you're feeling any specific areas of tension, it can be helpful to hold your neck in that position and let that tension ease out before continuing on. So taking this at your own pace. Go ahead and do one more neck roll this direction. And when you're ready, we'll meet at chin to chest, reversing order. So this time we start left ear to left shoulder, circle around, right ear to right shoulder, and back to center. Eyes can remain closed if that's comfortable for you still. Taking a few more circles, and just like we did the first direction, if we notice any areas of tension, to sit there and let that tension ease out before continuing. After this last one, go ahead and meet me at a neutral spine, neutral neck. We're going to close our eyes for just a moment and take a second to do a body scan. So reflecting inward on our body, how does our body feel? So what feels tight? What maybe feels like it needs some attention in class today? Maybe it's your shoulders, maybe it's your hips. Maybe you're noticing your facial muscles are tight, your jaw is clenching, your eyebrows are furrowing. Pay attention to those things, and then towards the end of class and throughout class, we'll do a couple more body scans and assess. You can also do a scan of your mind, so thinking about how we're feeling right now, if there are any emotions you want to assign to how you're feeling, you're welcome to do that, and we'll do the same throughout practice and at the end. Once you're ready, we are going to find tabletop position. So if you were sitting on anything, we can move that to the side, and we're going to meet in tabletop on our hands and knees. So warming up the spine, we're ensuring that our shoulders are directly over our wrists, our hips are directly over our knees. And from here, we'll find our cat-cow poses. So slowly inhaling, letting our belly drop to the mat, looking up out in front of us, cow pose. And as we exhale, we round the spine out, chin comes to our chest, cat pose. Inhaling cow, let that belly drop, gaze looks up or in front of us. Exhale, cat pose. So with Vinyāsa Yoga, our focus is to match our breath to our movement. So throughout class today, you'll hear me referencing an inhale or an exhale cue with whatever our body is doing for many of our poses, and I encourage you to match whatever I am cueing us to do with your own breath. So maybe your breath is slower or faster than mine. Do what works for you today. Taking one more full cow, one more full cat, and then we'll meet at a neutral spine. Once you are at a neutral spine, we are going to stretch our wrists out a little bit. So if it's helpful, we can kind of sit back on our heels for a moment, and we're going to take our hand, our palm, top of our palm, place it onto the mat. So we don't need to put a lot of pressure on here because we want to protect our wrists, but we do want to feel a little bit of a stretch there. We can do that with the other hand and just kind of switching back and forth a couple of times on each hand. We'll be doing some movement where we're in a plank pose, and so to help kind of warm our wrists up for that, we want to make sure they're well stretched out. From here, let's find our tabletop again and warm our spine up. So from here, spinal balance, we're going to go ahead and engage the core. We reach our one arm out as if we're shaking someone's hand. The opposite foot reaches back, so we can either keep the toe on the ground or lift here, foot is flexed. And think about your weight distribution. So we want to be equally balanced between that grounding hand and that grounding knee. That'll help balance our hips as well. So we don't want to have wobbly hips. We don't want to have them externally or internally rotated. We're going to hold here for 3, 2, and 1. Slowly bring hand and knee to meet the mat. From here, again, opposite hand this time extends out, opposite foot extends out. Choose the option you chose last time, whether you lifted that foot or left it on the mat. And again, find that weight distribution. You might notice one side is more difficult than the other. Keeping our head in neutral alignment, we're holding for 3, 2, and 1, slowly bringing that down. Let's take this one step further if we feel comfortable with our bird dog or spinal balance crunches. So initial hand, initial leg. When you're ready, slowly rising up, we're going to inhale and extend them in either direction, just like we are now. Exhale, we bring elbow to knee, crunching in. Inhale, we extend, and exhale, we crunch. Inhale, extend, and exhale, crunch. One more. Inhale, extend, and exhale, crunch. We're going to inhale, extend one more time, and then we'll exhale, rest. Good. So shake those wrists out if we need to a little bit. From here, let's switch. Opposite hand out, opposite leg lifted if that's comfortable. We inhale, extend, and exhale, crunch. Inhale, extend, and exhale, crunch. Inhale, extend, exhale, crunch. 2 more. Inhale, extend, exhale, crunch. Last one. Inhale, extend, and exhale, crunch. Last inhale, we extend, and then we let go. Let those hands and knees fall. Beautiful. From here, we're going to take us into a child's pose. So sitting back onto our heels, big toes are touching, knees can be together or apart, and we're going to reach those hands out in front of us, resting our forehead to the mat or the floor. Nice little recovery pose here. If at any point in your class or practice this feels most comfortable, or maybe a pose or a flow gets a little bit strenuous, or you need to just take the time to meet yourself back on the mat, this is a great recovery pose to resort to. From here, we're going to walk our hands over to the right. So tiptoeing those fingertips to the right side, finding that stretch in our left side body. Staying in child's pose, taking deep breaths, returning to that breath. Inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Taking one more breath. And when you're ready, walking those fingertips through center, and we're going to walk them over to the left side this time. Feeling a stretch in our right side body now. Maybe noticing if one side feels tighter than the other. Taking one more breath here. And when you're ready, walking those fingertips back to center, we're going to bring ourselves up through tabletop. Inhale here. Exhale, tuck the toes under, downward dog, lifting those hips to the sky. First downward dog of the day. Feel free to take a generous bend in the knees. We want to make sure that we have somewhat equal weight distribution in our upper and lower body, so not putting too much weight into our shoulders and arms. Same thing with our legs. Finding a nice straight spine if we can, and bending the knees can help with that. Here we can walk the dog out. So bending one knee, opposite heel drives towards the mat, finding a nice deep stretch in our calf muscles. Couple more here, walking those legs out. And when you're ready, looking between the hands, we're going to bend the knees and tiptoe the feet to meet the hands, forward fold. So letting that upper body hang over our hips here. Maybe feeling yourself fall deeper into that fold with every exhale, feeling those hamstrings warm up. So if our hamstrings are cold and they're not too flexible today, we're going to really feel this stretch as well as the next one. From here, if it feels comfortable, we are going to bend one knee. So maybe bend your left knee. Your right hand is going to reach towards the mat, or it can rest on our shin. This is also a good time if you have a prop. It can sit on your prop. And we're going to take the opposite hand, twisting towards our left side. So left arm reaches up, and we're reaching that left arm to the left side. Nice little twist here. Inhale here, and exhale, fold. Let's do the other side. Bending that right knee, reaching that left hand towards the mat or using our prop. And then when you're ready, inhale, extend that right arm, twisting towards the right side. Holding for 3, 2, inhale here, exhale, fold. Beautiful. Shake those knees out if we need to. Slowly roll up one vertebrae at a time. Head should be the last thing to rise. We're going to meet in mountain pose or Tadasana. So we'll be at the top of our mat. I will face the side just so that you can see me best, but we want our big toes touching. Our heels can be slightly separated. Shoulders are down and back. Hands are fingers spread apart, palms are facing outwards. So this is our mountain pose. Whenever I say mountain or Tadasana, this is the pose I'm looking for and what we want to aim for. Grab some water if you need it. We're going to start with our Surya Namaskar A or Sun A. And this is going to further warm our bodies up. Really where we're working on starting to match that breath to movement. We'll work through the first one a little bit slower. The second 2 will be a little bit quicker, okay? So when you're ready, in mountain pose, we inhale, arms up high, upward salute. Exhale, we forward fold. So back stays nice and flat till I'm about halfway. Then I can sort of collapse that upper body over my hips. Next, inhale, halfway lift. Bring my hands to my shins. Nice flat back, heads in neutral alignment. Exhale, fold. Hands can come towards the mat, bend those knees if we need to, and we're gonna step the feet back into a high plank. So right here, you always have the option to take it to our knees, and if you want to do that for the first time, I encourage you to as we warm our bodies up. We're gonna inhale, shift our weight forwards. As we exhale, slowly lower chaturanga. Elbows right into our sides. Baby cobra as we inhale and lift. So I inhale, just bringing my chest off the ground, waking those back muscles up. Exhale, lower cheek to the mat. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, cheek to mat. This next time we inhale, full cobra or up dog. Up dog, we have those thighs lifted off the mat. Exhale, downward facing dog. Tuck those toes. Hips go up towards the sky. 3 breaths here. Thinking every time we're in downward dog, we want to make sure those shoulders are down and back. Even though that seems counterintuitive to what our arms are doing right now, we want to make sure we're not shrugging those shoulders up into our ears. On that 4th inhale, let's look between the hands and tiptoe the feet to meet the hands, forward fold. Next inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, upward salute, root to rise. We bring those arms up, reverse swan dive, arms overhead. Exhale, Tadasana, mountain pose. So next 2 times, we're gonna work a little bit quicker. Here we go. Inhaling, arms high, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, hands come to mat, walking back. We can stay in high plank this time if that's comfortable. We inhale, shift the weight forward. Exhale, slowly lower chaturanga. Inhale, full cobra or up dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. 3 breaths here. Remember, we're matching breath to movement. So if your breath is off of what my cues are, go with your breath and movement. On that 4th inhale, we look between the hands. This time we can walk or hop the feet to meet the hands, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive, root to rise, Urdhva Hastasana, and exhale, mountain pose. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to mat, walk or hop the feet out to high plank. Inhale, shift forward on the weight. Exhale, lower, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. 3 breaths. Inhale, looking between the hands, walk or hop the feet to meet the hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, root to rise. Exhale, Tadasana, mountain pose. Wonderful. We're going to move on. So our main sequence today revolves around Surya Namaskar C or Sun C. And so we will go through this about 4 times, each time adding on. So take a moment in your Tadasana. If you've grabbed water, you're ready to go. We are going to get started taking a quick body scan. Hopefully we feel a little bit warmer. Our joints feel warmed up, our muscles feel warmed up. We're ready to continue movement. Inhaling, arms high, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, hands come to shins, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. On this next inhale, we're going to take our right leg, step it back. Nice little lunge here. If it's comfortable, rest that knee on the ground. Right here, alignment, knee is over our ankle, so make sure that knee doesn't go over our toe. And when you're ready, inhale, lift. So we can have arms come up high, or they can be at hips or heart center. Anjaneyasana. So here we're starting to work on that hip opening. I'm shifting my hips forward, feeling that stretch in my right hip flexor. One more inhale here. Exhale, hands frame the foot. We're gonna tuck this back toe, step the front foot back, high plank. Inhale, shift that weight forward. Exhale, lower chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog, 2 breaths. On that next inhale, we lift the right leg high, 3-legged dog here. Weight is distributed on our hips, not externally rotating. When you're ready, bring that knee through, placing the hand or the foot between the hands, lowering the left knee. We inhale, lift, Anjaneyasana. So this time we feel that stretch in our left hip flexor. If it's comfortable, bringing our hands to heart center or hips if that's better for you. One more inhale here. As we exhale, frame the foot, tuck that back toe, step this left foot to meet the right at the front, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, upward salute, root to rise, arms overhead. Exhale, mountain pose. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. This time we're going to step the left leg back first. So we were just in this position. We step the left leg back. Option this time to either keep the knee on the ground and lift to Anjaneyasana, or keep this knee lifted and lift into crescent lunge. 2 options. If you are choosing to leave your knee on the ground, that is wonderful. I will ask you at some point to lift it based on our next pose. So if you are sitting here with your knee on the mat, tuck that back toe, lift and use that core, arms overhead. From here, we're going to inhale. As we exhale, open up warrior 2. So we want to walk heel toe that front foot so that we can see our front heel is aligned with the ball of our back foot. Bringing that left hip forward, right hip back. If it's comfortable to hold hands on your hips, you can. And finding a generous bend in our front knee. Knees not going over toe. Looking out towards that middle fingertip of our front hand. Inhale here. Exhale, we cartwheel the hands down, frame the foot, step the right foot back, high plank. Take your vinyasa here, leaning forward, lowering chaturanga. I'll meet you in downward facing dog. Working through our cobra, tucking the toes. So if I say take your vinyasa or take a vinyasa, that's usually what I'm referring to as our high plank, lower chaturanga, and then cobra or up dog into our downward dog. From here, let's lift the left leg high. Foot's flexed, three-legged dog. When you're ready, drive that knee through. Place the foot between the hands. If you'd like to sit in Anjaneyasana for a moment, resting that knee. Otherwise, we are lifted in crescent lunge. Stabilizing that core here. If your knee is on the ground, lifting up into crescent lunge. Everyone taking an inhale. We exhale, open warrior two. We walk that front foot over, heel to big toe or ball of our foot alignment. Our back heel is on the ground, about 90 degrees there. Both feet grounded, finding that generous bend in our front knee. 2 more breaths. Inhaling here. Exhaling, cartwheel those hands, frame the foot. Step the back foot to meet the front, forward fold. Let that body hang for just a moment. On that next inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, root to rise, arms overhead. And exhale, mountain. Beautiful. From here, adding on, meeting you in mountain pose. I'm going to take this to the other side so that way I know that my body's facing the right way when we add on. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. This time taking the right leg back, stepping into that crescent lunge, lifting high. Inhaling here. Exhaling, warrior two. So we were just in this warrior two. If it looks, sounds, and feels familiar, it should be. From here, we are going to take a wide-legged stance. So I'm going to pivot towards my right side. This front foot is going to become parallel with the left. So if you have a mat, a good rule of thumb is outside of our feet, parallel with the mat, okay? From here, we're facing center. We're gonna inhale, arms high, and exhale, fold. Wide-legged fold here, taking a few deep breaths. Feeling this sensation now, so feeling our hamstrings open up, maybe even our inner thighs. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna place our right hand in the middle. We're gonna inhale and twist, reaching the left arm high. Gaze can look up towards that left hand or it can look to the side. Whatever works for you. If it is uncomfortable for your neck, I would recommend looking either down or at the side. Inhale here, and exhale, bring that left hand back to center. Placing the left hand center this time, we inhale, twist to the right. Same thing, finding a bit of twist. Inhale, lengthen that spine. Exhale, maybe twist a little deeper. Inhale here. And exhale, meeting back in center. From here, we are going to take our weight, shift it to the left. And if it's possible for you, keeping your heel on the ground. If you're like me, and maybe that heel needs to lift a little bit, we are going to do so. So leaning towards our left side, we can feel our inner thigh of our right leg open up a little bit. Feel that stretch here. Good, and from here we're going to go ahead and shift. So working through that center fold, finding our way to the right side. I think my screen is mirroring you, so if it looks for you like I am going to the left, it's because the camera mirrors everything. So this time we're feeling that stretch open through our left leg. trying to keep some integrity in our spine. So if it's possible, keeping your spine straight, shoulders down and back, not hunching forward. One more breath here. And when you're ready, find yourself back at that center forward fold. So from here, if you are well versed in your yoga practice, we have a couple options. First option is going to be just to hold in our forward fold. So maybe working on walking those fingertips back, finding that nice deep fold, really opening through our hamstrings and maybe even our back as we walk our hands. Couple of other options, we can take some balance poses. So if you're familiar with crow, this is an opportunity to take crow. I'll walk us through that one. If you are further advanced in your practice and you want to take a headstand, you are more than welcome to. I am not going to guide us through headstand just because I'm not with you in person. I don't have the ability to monitor the risk of the room. So I will teach us through crow, but remember, you always have that option to stay in your fold. So with crow, what we're going to do is we're going to kind of heel toe our feet towards each other till they're maybe a little wider than hip distance. I'm going to face the side so you can see me. From here, our hands place on the mat. So I have a bend in my knees. I'm either going to choose to hug my knees into my elbows or my triceps, or I'm going to rest my knees on top of my triceps. That option is a little more advanced, so choose what works for you. And then from here, finding our balance, we are either going to lift one toe or we're gonna lift both and find that balance pose. So take a couple seconds here and work on your crow pose or hold your forward fold, or remember that other option is to find headstand. Looking always out in front of us. So if you're looking straight down between your hands, it's likely that your body's going to go straight down between your hands. If we look a little bit in front of us on the floor, that's going to be very helpful. Rounding our spine. We've practiced this a few times if you've come to class before, so maybe gauging if you're making any progress with your crow pose. Take a couple more tries. We'll have the other side to do this on, so you will have another opportunity. And when you're ready, find me back in our straddle forward fold. Once we are here, we are going to open up into our crescent lunge, facing our left side. So we have that left foot in front, again turning, finding that crescent lunge. Inhale here. And exhale, frame the foot, step that front foot back. Inhale, lean forward. Exhale, take your vinyasa. I'll meet you in downward facing dog. So our left leg was in front. This time we lift the right leg high. Balancing those hips, check yourself. When you're ready, bring that knee through, finding our crescent lunge here. Inhale, crescent lunge, lift high. Exhale, open warrior two. So you'll probably notice I switch sides so that I can stay facing you all. You're going to be facing a different way this time. But when you're ready, parallel the outside of our legs. We're going to do the same thing one more time. So inhale, lifting high. Exhale, folding center. We can move a little bit quicker this time. Right hand in the middle. Inhale, lift and twist that left arm. We twist our body towards the left. Inhale, straightening that spine. Exhale, deeper twist. One more inhale here. Exhale, center. Left hand's in the center now. We inhale, lift the right arm high. Find that twist. Remember, inhale, straightening that spine. Exhale, maybe twisting a little deeper. One more inhale as you exhale, center. This time going to the right side first, leaning, bending that knee. Again, if it's possible for you to keep this heel on the ground, that is ideal. And if not, meet me where I'm at. That's totally okay too. We're looking for a stretch in this inner thigh. Holding here for a couple more seconds. As we hold some of these stretches for a little bit longer, that's a good time to return to your breath. So that's a easy time for us to let our minds wander, but if we focus on our breath, let's go ahead and switch other side. That can keep us centered. Remember, this time's for you. It's not time for outside thoughts. So finding yourself in this stretch, matching your breath to movement as we move through these next few poses. Holding here for one more breath. When you're ready, standing into that straddle, forward fold, we find our balance pose one more time. So if that was crow for you, if it was headstand, that's great. Or maybe you're choosing that forward fold option. So just holding our forward fold, maybe walking those fingertips back a little bit, finding a deeper forward fold. And if that's the case for you, think about the weight distribution in your feet here. So are you leaning more into the balls of your feet, into the heels of your feet? We want an even balance. Remember, for my crow pose people, we heel toe those legs in, hands plant, and then we can either choose to lift one toe or two, or maybe we just don't lift any at all. That's okay. Using that core. Remembering that every day our bodies feel different, might feel better or worse than the last time you practiced this. So if you're feeling like you're regressing, don't worry. It's all part of the practice. All right, so when you're ready, finding that straddle forward fold one more time. From here, we're gonna go back into our crescent lunge, facing the right side. So right foot's in front, nice little crescent lunge. We pivot the feet, arms lift high. Inhale here, exhale, frame that foot. This time we step the back leg to meet the front. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, fold. Inhale, root to rise, arms overhead, reverse swan dive. Exhale, Tadasana. We have one more time through this. This time through, we're gonna skip the crow, skip the balance, and we're gonna go into some deeper stretches. So we'll work through sun see a different way. Inhale, arms lift high. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, place those hands to the mat, step the right leg back. Good. If you're ready, we inhale, crescent lunge. One more time, we can open warrior two. So heel toe, that foot, front foot, we can place the back heel down. Nice little generous bend. This time we're gonna inhale, reverse warrior. So let that back hand slide down our thigh or our shin. Right arm or left arm comes up. Inhale here, exhale, we cartwheel those hands all the way to frame the foot. So from here, we are going to find lizard pose. Deeper stretches here. Like I mentioned, we're focusing on hips, and if you haven't noticed any hip focus yet, this is where you're gonna see the bulk of it. So we're gonna heel toe that left foot to the edge of our mat, so that way both of our hands are on the inside. And right here, if it's comfortable to rest your knee and you'd prefer that, please do. If you'd like to keep your toe lifted, you can do that as well for a deeper stretch. So here we are in lizard pose. This is option one. If we want to take this a little bit deeper, we can either rest our forearms on the ground, or if you brought a prop with you to class today, a pillow of sorts, or a book, or a block, this is where you can use that prop to rest your forearms there. And so here we want to be thinking about where we're feeling that stretch. So where we should be feeling it is right in this front left hip, but then also in the hip flexor of our right hip. So right in that hip crease. And whichever knee is forward, probably your left, we're thinking about bringing that knee in towards our shoulder or our upper arm, wherever that lands for you. We don't want it bowing out. So pay attention to that for you. And this is where, again, we're finding some deeper stretches. So you might notice it's not extremely comfortable, but we don't want to be straining ourselves to where we're injuring ourselves. So just focusing on our breath, focusing on these stretches, each inhale and each exhale, maybe finding that ourselves a little bit deeper into our stretch. When you're ready, if you're on your forearms, slowly lifting up to your palms, we're going to move into cow face pose. So how we're going to get there is right now, your left foot is on the ground in this lunge position. Our right knee is on the ground. We're going to tuck our right knee under our left. So I actually am going to sit down on my right hip and then kind of let my left leg follow. Cow face pose. The goal is to have our knees stacked on top of each other. So if your hips are much more open than mine, you can probably have those knees stacked. But if your hips are a little tighter like mine, then it'll be a little bit more difficult. What we do want to think about though is keeping both hips grounded. So if that means you're unfolded a little bit, maybe you're only right here because your hips need to be on the ground, that's perfectly fine. Meet yourself where your body's at today. It's better to do the pose correctly than to force yourself into the pose the wrong way. So wherever you're at, find yourself there. If this is enough stretch for you, just hold here. Maybe close your eyes, sitting up tall. If we need a little bit more sensation, slowly fold forward and you're gonna feel that stretch right in that outer left hip. Nice deep breaths here, finding some comfort in this discomfort. A lot of these hip stretches, they can be a little uncomfortable as we're in them, but it's one of those things where once we're done with practice today, your hips are going to feel so much better. Couple more breaths right here. And when you're ready, we're going to unfold out of this. So your left foot is going to be placed on the mat. We use that right arm and left palm to help pivot us back into our lunge. Let's frame the foot. We take a step back with that left foot, high plank. I believe this is our last vinyasa of the day. So go ahead and take it. I'll meet you in downward dog. Our left foot was forward, which means this time our right leg lifts high. We bring that knee through, frame the foot, but then when you're ready, if we had the knee dropped the first time, drop it this time. We heel toe that right foot to the edge of the mat. So this time, now our hands are on the inside of our right foot, and we can find the lizard pose option of our choice. So again, we can have the option to lift up so our knees off the ground. We can put our forearms onto a prop or block, or maybe just down on the ground. Just like in cow face pose with lizard pose, we want to make sure we're performing the pose properly and how it was meant to be performed, as opposed to forcing our body into something it's not ready for. Nice deep breaths here. Remember, not letting that right knee bow out. Should be hugging our right arm. While we're here, I'm going to switch sides just so that when we go into cow face pose, my back is not to you all. If you had your forearms on the ground, starting to lift up into palms to ground, and we're going to find cow face pose again. So this time we're tucking our left grounded knee under and maneuvering our body to where our left hip finds the ground first, right to follow. So we should have right over left here. Again, it might look different for you if you're looking on screen. Am I mirroring you? And again, thinking about knee over knee or meet yourself where you're at. So priority, both hips on the ground. Find yourself whatever feels, we'll say, just the right amount of discomfort. So just the right amount of stretch. Remember option 2, forward fold, if that makes your stretch a little bit deeper for you. You might notice as we do the other side that one side feels tighter than the other, and that's completely normal. It's completely okay, but just note that, and maybe that means moving forward, we need to put a little extra attention into one side, maybe stretching a little bit deeper when we find these stretches again. If you are prone to crossing your legs, you might notice that if you always cross right over left or left over right, that one of those hips is going to be tighter than the other. Normal. These little things we do on a daily basis end up taking a toll on our bodies. Finding a few more deep breaths in this pose, and then we'll further ourselves into final relaxation. Slowly, if you were in your forward fold, start to lift up. From here, we are going to find head to knee pose. So what you can do is you can honestly just unfold, grab water if you need it, and we're gonna be seated on our glutes here, doing a few more stretches. We're gonna have our right leg extended out. Let me mirror you so that you see the right thing. My left leg's out, your right leg's out. And our left leg is tucked in. So we have the sole of our foot to our inner thigh, and we're gonna kind of pivot ourselves to where we're looking towards this extended right leg. From here, we can inhale, lift high. Exhale, we fold. So it's important to fold with a nice flat back if we can, and then we can fold that upper body. So head to knee pose, we're looking at bringing our forehead or our nose to our knee. Don't have to force it. We can just let our body fold. Hands can be at our shins, or maybe your hands reach towards your feet. Again, not forcing our body to do anything. And we hopefully can feel a nice little stretch also in our right side obliques into our lower back. Foot is flexed. Inhaling through the nose. Exhaling through the nose. Each exhale sinking a little bit deeper into that stretch. On your next inhale, slowly lifting up. We'll find that same stretch on the other side. So this time extending the left leg, bringing the right sole of our foot to our inner thigh of our left leg. We inhale, looking towards that extended left leg. Exhale, fold. Again, maybe noticing one side feels more flexible or less flexible than the other. That's okay. Foot stays flexed. Couple more breaths here. On that next inhale, slowly lifting up. One more seated stretch, our butterfly pose. So that inner thighs are going to get a nice little stretch here. The soles of our feet touch each other. We can kind of cup our feet with our hands if we'd like. And we're going to inhale, lift tall. Exhale, forward fold. So here it's up to you. If we want to try and focus on bringing those heels close to our thighs, we can. Or we can have them extended out into like this larger diamond, we'll say. And forward fold that way. You get a little bit of a stretch, a little bit of a different stretch depending on which option you choose. So if you'd like to test it out, you can. But either way, we should feel a nice little stretch in our inner thighs here. Keeping those shoulders down and back. Taking one more breath here. On that next inhale, slowly lifting up. We're going to lower ourselves to the mat here. So I'm going to face this side so you can see me. We're going to find boat pose as we do so. So we'll do one round of boat pose and then we'll lower down. Boat pose, we have our options are we can keep our heels on the ground and just lean back. That's perfectly fine. Other options, we can lift our heels. Hands are behind the thighs. Option to open the hands up. And option to take our V. So choose what you like. We'll be here for about 15 seconds. Inhaling and lifting. And then make sure we're breathing continuously and smoothly as we hold our boat pose. So not holding our breath here. And if you are shaking like I am, that's completely normal. It means your abdominals are working. When you're ready, slowly place those heels to the mat, sitting up tall. We're going to lean back into a supine pose. So hands come out. We're going to lower for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Very nice. Finding our way towards our final relaxation, we'll tuck our knees into our chest here. So hug those knees in. Maybe rock side to side. We'll find a little massage on our lower back here. You earned it. Maybe taking small circles. And when you're ready, hugging that right knee in, extending the left knee out. Inhaling here, and as we exhale, we can take that right knee towards the left side of our body, twisting over. And arms can come out to a T. I always notice that if I keep my knee at about a 90-degree angle, I get a little bit of a deeper stretch in my IT band or that outer thigh. So if you're looking for that, you can keep your knee at a 90-degree angle as opposed to taking that foot to our knee in more of like a pirouette pose. Gaze can be towards our right arm. Option to close the eyes here as we get closer to that Shavasana or final relaxation. When you're ready, slowly untwisting, giving that right knee one more hug, maybe taking a couple circles at the hip here. And then when you're ready, let that leg fall out. This time our left knee can come in. Give that left knee a hug. When you're ready, inhale. And as you exhale, we can twist over to our right side this time. Arms can come out to a T. Remember, option to keep that knee at 90 degrees. Finding a little bit of that deeper stretch in our outer thigh, that IT band area. Gaze looking towards the left hand. Eyes can be closed or open. When you're ready, slowly untwisting, giving that left knee one more hug, maybe taking some circles here at that hip joint. And then when you're ready, letting our bodies fall out into our corpse pose, so onto our backs. If we'd like to take happy baby as just one last pose, you can. If you are choosing that, your hands will come to the outside of your feet. Soles of our feet are facing up towards the sky, and you can rock side to side. That one might feel good on our hips one more time. But whenever you are ready, we can let those legs extend out in front of us. If you had a pillow or something near you in practice today, you have a couple options with that. You can place it under your head, you can place it under your knees, or you can place it under your feet. Sometimes that feels good just to have our feet lifted. That is the option I am going to choose, but you do whatever you'd like. And from here, we're just going to let the eyes fall closed, palms facing up towards the sky, feet splayed out, and use these last few moments to connect back with your breath, hopefully to clear our mind one last time. So just letting all those outside thoughts, worries, judgments float away. If a thought comes into our head as we're lying here, just letting it pass by, not spending too much time on any given thought. Taking our breaths in and out through the nose. When you're ready, start to wiggle those fingers, wiggle those toes. If you need a few moments in your Shavasana still, you are welcome to stay there. Maybe rolling the wrists, rolling the ankles. And if it feels good, taking a good morning stretch, reaching those arms overhead, pointing the feet in the opposite direction. And we're going to slowly roll over to one side, whichever side you'd like, finding our pose of rebirth, and then slowly lifting up into our seated pose where we will end class today, just like where we started. So when you're ready, finding yourself in easy pose. Again, if you have a prop you'd like to use to sit on, you can. You can be a little more comfortable. And we're going to take a moment here and do another body scan. So sitting here, sitting nice and tall, maybe hands, palms facing up this time. Eyes are closed. Inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Think head to toe. How does our body feel right now? Does it feel better? Does it feel worse? Hopefully it feels better. How does our mind feel right now? Does your mind feel more at ease? Does it feel clearer? Does it feel more positive? Hopefully all of those things are true. Whenever you're ready, you can start to flutter your eyes open. We are going to get into our ending of class today. So one deep breath. We'll inhale our arms up high. Bring our palms together. Exhale, bring those hands to heart center. I thank you all for being in class today. The light in me honors and respects the light in each and every one of you. Let's bow our heads to seal our practice. Forehead to hand. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me today. Again, this was Vinyāsa Yoga. My name is Jackie. If you have some time at the end of class before Xing out, there is a survey in the description. If you wouldn't mind taking a couple moments to fill that survey out, that lets me know what you liked and didn't like about class today so that I can further tailor it to meet your needs. As an update, this is our last week of our Summer B schedule. So if you're watching this live, this is applicable for you. We have this week, and then starting next week, we'll have an adjusted schedule. So that should be up on our website towards the end of the week. Keep an eye out for that. This class will actually be happening on Mondays at the same time. So I anticipate that I will continue teaching this over the next couple weeks. But don't be surprised if maybe there is another instructor here. Either way, we'll see you next Monday at 5:30 next couple weeks. All right, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.